I'd like to extend the peace of the God of Israel to each and every one of you. And welcome you once again to a holy convention of NCCI that Yahweh Elohim has ordained that we should hold here in Atlanta. Surely, Yahweh's been merciful to us. This is why I tried to cover so thoroughly the many things that had to be said to our people and their actions and so forth, so that we would understand that Yahweh is the creator of all things. He's the giver of all things. And he left us a legacy that we should believe in. And this legacy shows us what has happened, what is happening now, and what is going to happen. And what greater book can you have than the things that has been left to us, the children of Israel? But the reason for these things is so that we can give this thing to the world. It's not for us. Not basically just for us. It's for us to give to the world just as the apostles gave these things to the world. But man don't want to deal with these things. It's like the song they were singing, go down Moses, tell old Pharaoh to let my people go. Well, I'm not here to tell Pharaoh to let Yahweh's people go. That's not my job. See, that was Moses' job. See, the angel's going to stand up and do that. My job is to tell the children of Israel, let Pharaoh go.
I hear you, bro.
Because once we let Pharaoh go, then truly we will follow what the prophet had to say, and we're in the process of it. When people are going to curse their God and their king and look upward. And once they look upward, they're going to keep their heads toward the sky for one reason and one reason alone, because of the catastrophes, the calamities that's coming up on this earth, and we are not going to be able to dodge these things. Like Yahweh said, he's going to rule over us with his fury poured out. So just as the fury is being poured out upon Pharaoh, the fury is also going to be poured out on us. You know why? To purge us, to make you whiter than snow. See, Yahweh is not, eternal life isn't something that you gotta wait until somebody wiggle their nose and this happens. What happened is this: eternal life is something that you're gonna walk into. You see, in an instant, in a twinkling of an eye, you're gonna walk into it. But before you can walk into it, you're gonna have to be whiter than snow. You're gonna have to be whiter than snow. No doubt about it. The Messiah said, be you followers of me. And we know that he was whiter than snow. We know that Paul at one time, Saul said, not as though I have already attained, but I press on toward the mark of the high calling of Yahweh my Elohim. Then later on, a few years later, Saul said, I'm ready to be offered up. Now isn't that a glorious thing to say? Know that you've completed your mission, and know that you've been made holy, because we're not going to be holy by ourselves. But then, knowing that you'll be made holy, then you'll be ready to be offered up. Amen. But Brother Steve, read the oracles of the church and invite him who stands at the door, that he may come in and sup with us and us with him, that we may continue in this great legacy. And consider what we read, because herein are the issues of life.
I'm going to read the oracles of the church, beginning at 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves. For love shall cover the multitude of sins.
Praise Yah.
Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man have received a gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim giveth, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yeshua HaMashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim, for the anointed one's sake, have forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim as dear children, and walk in love, as the anointed one also have loved us, and have given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becometh saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks.
Amen.
Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the church.
Amen. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the church and holy convention. Now I'm going to sing a song to you, my lover, my well-beloved, is touching his vineyard, a song of deliverance. Now, last week, we covered up to where the children of Israel had, our fathers had went down in captivity in Iraq, old ancient Babylon. And that captivity was 70 years. Now, even though Yahweh, this is what I like about Yahweh. He'll do something, and then what he'll do is, while you're in the process of doing this, he's going to tell you something else he's going to be about. So you can look forward to these things, and there was always things of deliverance. There was always things of deliverance for the children of Israel. Sure, we read about the dire things that has happened to us, and when you look at us, you can see that Yahweh has his hand heavily laid upon us. But then, to show his love for us, he told us, say, look, even though all these things come upon you, I'm going to redeem you. But see, that's not what we get from the nations. What we get from the nations is, we're going to be redeemed, and we're going off to Never Never Land, and y'all going to be here on earth, and we're going to stay in heaven 1,000 years, then we're going to come back down on earth, and we're going to reign over y'all some more. It's not so. What I like to do today is I like to start in the prophets that went into the captivity. I'd like to start in the prophet Jeremiah, Yirmiyahu chapter 29, and we're going to pick this up at verse 1. Yirmiyahu chapter 29 and verse 1.
Now these are the words of the letter that Yirmiyahu the prophet sent from Jerusalem unto the residue of the elders, which were carried away captives, and to the priests, and to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. After that, Jeconiah the king, and the queen, and the eunuchs, the princes of Yehuda and Jerusalem, and the carpenters and the smiths were departed from Jerusalem by the hand of Elisah the son of Shaphan, and Jeremiah the son of Gemariah, the son of Hilkiah, whom Zedekiah king of Yehuda sent unto Babylon, to Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, saying, Thus says Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon, build you houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take you wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that you may be increased there and not diminished.
And here in this country here, people say we are the minority, a minority, right? I doubt that very seriously. Any place you go, Israel has blossomed and bud and filled the whole area. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 7. and seek the peace of the city to where I have caused you to be carried away captive, and pray unto Yahweh for it. For in the peace thereof shall you have peace.
Mm-hmm.
But thus says Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, let not your prophets and your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams which you cause to be dreams.
Right. I heard a brother say one time, I had a dream this afternoon that the brotherhood of man would become a reality in this day. He didn't have that dream. The prophets was told this by Yahweh Elohim. Now, I don't know what he was talking about, but the brotherhood of man that's going to come, a reality, is going to come after the earth is almost made uninhabitable by our God. Why? Because of the things that has happened to us in this captive that man has done to us throughout our history, and because this is his way of purging us with hyssop and making us white as snow. But go ahead and read. It's all designed to make us whiter than snow. Regards to what happened to the nation, it's all designed to make us the clean ones upon the earth. But go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 9. But they prophesy falsely unto you in my name. I have not sent them, says Yahweh. For thus says Yahweh, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you, in causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, says Yahweh, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end.
Well, the only way that we can receive an expected end is that he enjoined a new covenant unto us then, right? Because the new covenant was the covenant of peace, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 12. Then shall you call upon me, and you shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And you shall seek me and find me, when you shall search for me with all your heart.
Check what he said. See, a lot of people, some people are looking for wisdom, some people are looking for knowledge, and some people are looking for understanding, right? But Yahweh said, you will find me when you seek after me, and with your whole heart and with your whole soul. And this is something that we don't do because everybody got his own thing that he's off into. But that shows that we are not seeking some of these things that we do. We don't follow the commandment of seeking the peace of the land where you dwell. And these are the things that cause us problems, and cause us not only problems with the authorities in this country, but cause us problems with our own Elohim, simply because we didn't obey it. This is why when the police stop me and I'm in the wrong, I don't even bother to say, man, what you, no, just give my stuff, so man, do your job. That's what I pay your taxes for. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 14. And I will be found of you, says Yahweh, and I will turn away your captivity.
When you seek for me with your whole heart and your whole soul, then I will turn away your captivity, right? Yes, your captivity to what? Your captivity to sin.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, brother.
And I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places to where I have driven you, says Yahweh.
Praise Yah.
And I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captive. Because you have said, Yahweh hath raised us up prophets in Babylon, know that thus says Yahweh, of the king that sitteth upon the throne of David, and of all the people that dwelleth in this city, and of your brethren that are not gone forth with you into captivity, thus says Yahweh of hosts, behold, I will send upon them the sword, the famine, and the pestilence, and will make them like vile figs that cannot be eaten. They are so evil.
Look at us. Folks think we the offscouring of the earth. Mm-hmm. Anybody come over here, they don't want to come around live in our neighborhoods, simply because they know that we have something is wrong in our neighborhood. Mm. A lot of people don't know it's the curses that Yahweh put up on us, but people know there's something wrong with these black folks over here. Stay away from them folks. Somebody is putting a whammy on them folks, so just stay away from them. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 18. And I will persecute them with the sword, with the famine, and with the pestilence, and will deliver them to be removed to all the kingdoms of the earth, to be a curse, and an astonishment, and a hissing, and a reproach among all the nations whither I have driven them.
Can we deny that these things are not upon us, on all over the earth? Any place we habitat, these curses and these reproaches are upon us. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 19. Because they have not hearkened to my words, says Yahweh, which I sent unto them by my servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them, but you would not hear, says Yahweh. Hear you therefore the word of Yahweh, all you of the captivity whom I have sent from Jerusalem to Babylon. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, of Ahab the son of Kaliah, and of Zedekiah the son of Maaseiah, which prophesied lie unto you in my name. Behold, I will deliver them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and he shall slay them before your eyes. And of them shall be taken up a curse by all the captivity of Yehudah, which are in Babylon, saying, Yahweh make you like Zedekiah and like Ahab, whom the king of Babylon roasted in the fire, because they have committed villainy in Israel, and have committed adultery with their neighbor's wife, and have spoken lying words in my name, which I have not commanded them. Even I know and am a witness, says Yahweh. Thus shall you also speak to Shemaiah the Nehelamite, saying, Thus speak of Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, saying, Because you have sent letters in your name unto all the people that are at Jerusalem, and to Zephaniah the son of Maaseiah the priest, and to all the priests, saying, Yahweh have made you priests in the stead of Jehoiada the priest, that you should be officers in the house of Yahweh. For every man that is mad and maketh himself a prophet, that you should have put him in prisons and in the stocks. Now therefore, why have you not reproved Yirmiyahu of Anathoth, who maketh himself a prophet to you? For therefore he sent unto us in Babylon, saying, This captivity is long. Build you houses and dwell in them. Plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. And Zephaniah the priest read this letter in the ears of Yirmiyahu the prophet. Then came the word of Yahweh unto Yirmiyahu, saying, Send to all them of the captivity, saying, Thus says Yahweh concerning Shemaiah the Nehelamite, because that Shemaiah hath prophesied unto you, and I sent him not, and he caused you to trust in a lie. Therefore thus says Yahweh, Behold, I will punish Shemaiah the Nehelamite and his seed, and he shall not have a man to dwell among this people. Neither shall he behold the good that I will do for my people, says Yahweh, because he have taught rebellion against Yahweh.
And the same thing to go to the false prophets that we have today, that's called themselves ministers. Their seed is going to suffer, right? Plus Yahweh is going to be against them. Why? Because of their rebellion to the word that's written in this book here. People don't want to deal with the word that's written in this book. What they want to deal with is what I think, what I feel, and what Mr. Charlie told me. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yirmiyahu chapter 30, verse 1. The word that came to Yirmiyahu from Yahweh, saying, Thus speak of Yahweh Elohim of Israel, saying, Write you all the words that I have spoken unto you in a book. For lo, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will bring again the captivity of my people, Israel and Yehudah, says Yahweh, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it.
Praise Yah.
And these are the words that Yahweh spoke concerning Israel and concerning Yehudah. But thus says Yahweh, We have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask now, and see whether a man does travail with child. Why do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness?
Today they got them all stuffed up in prison houses. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Yaakov's trouble, but he shall be saved out of
The
it.
whole thing that's happening on the earth and everything that's going to happen on the earth, all with the wrath of Satan being poured out on the earth in the 7 seals, and the wrath of Yahweh in the 7 vials and 7 trumpets, all these things is designed for one purpose, to make you turn to your God. because this is the time of your trouble, and you shall be saved out of it when you turn to Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart and all your soul. We can fake much as we want to, and you die right there, leaving out of that wilderness, still trusting in Pharaoh's gods. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 8. For it shall come to pass in that day, says Yahweh of hosts, that I will break his yoke from off your neck,
Amen.
and will burst your bonds, and strangers shall no more serve themselves of him.
Amen.
But they shall serve Yahweh their Elohim, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Therefore, fear thou not, O my servant Yaakov, says Yahweh, neither be dismayed, O Israel. For lo, I will save you from afar, and your seed from the land of their captivity, and Yaakov shall return, and shall be in rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid.
Praise Yah.
For I am with you, says Yahweh, to save you. Though I make a full end of all nations to where I have scattered you, yet will I not make a full end of you. But I will correct you in measure, and will not leave you altogether unpunished. For thus says Yahweh, your bruise is incurable, and your wound is grievous. There is none to plead your cause, that you may be bound up. You have no healing medicine. All your lovers have forgotten you.
Right, they don't call us Hebrews today. They don't call us Israelites today. Y'all know what they call us. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. They seek thee not, for I have wounded you with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of your iniquity, because your sins were increased.
Right. This is why I always tell people, I said, look here, let me tell you something. Because of the things that I get off into, you wouldn't have no power over me if my Elohim wouldn't give me into your hands. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 15. Why do you cry for your affliction? Your sorrow is incurable for the multitude of your iniquity. Because your sins were increased, I have done these things unto you. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil you shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon you will I give for a prey.
That's why I tell people, be careful how you treat the people of the living God. Be careful. See, you don't believe that they're the people of the living God because they're human beings just like you are. But be careful because of the station that Yahweh has given to these people here. Be careful what you say to Israel. Yeah, because the angel of the Lord will not pardon your transgressions. You can believe that. He don't pardon our transgressions, so we know what he's going to do with those that's not under the blood of Yahshua HaMashiach. Yeah, go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 17. For I will restore health unto you, and I will heal you of your wounds, says Yahweh, because they call you an outcast, saying, this is Zion, whom no man seeketh.
Right, they keep asking what these people doing, what they're all about. This is a lawless and self-willed people. I mean, what's up with these people? We need to do something to these people here, right? Right, you need to leave us alone. That's what you need to do. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Verse 18. Thus says Yahweh, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Yaakov's tents, and have mercy on his dwelling places, and the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof.
Praise Yah.
And out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of them that make merry. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as before time, and their congregation shall be established before me, and I will punish all that oppress
Praise
them.
Yah.
And their nobles shall be of themselves, and their governor shall proceed from the midst of them. And I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach unto me. For who is this that engage his heart to approach unto me, says Yahweh.
Amen.
And you shall be my people, and I will be your Elohim. Behold, the whirlwind of Yahweh goeth forth with fury, a continuing whirlwind. It shall fall with pain upon the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of Yahweh shall not return until he have done it, and until he have performed the intent of his heart. In the latter days you shall consider
And
it.
truly, here in the latter days, The number of us in this country that's considering this is astronomical. You wouldn't believe the congregation that's scattered all over the earth in these latter days. Why? Because it's time for the reformation of Israel's tabernacle. Go ahead and read, brother.
Jeremiah chapter 31, verse 1. At the same time, says Yahweh, will I be the Elohim of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people.
Praise Yah.
Thus, says Yahweh, the people which were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest. Yahweh have appeared of old unto me, saying, Yea, I have loved thee with an everlasting love. Therefore with loving kindness have I drawn
He's
thee.
talking to the lost sheep that found grace, right? People think grace is something new. Noah found grace. When Adam sinned, grace was granted unto Adam, wasn't it? Because Yahweh told him, said, the day you eat this thing here, you're going to die, boy. Adam found grace. All of the chosen people of Yahweh has always found grace, right? Even his enemies, he give grace, don't he? So grace is nothing new. It's just something we don't deserve. That's all. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir, verse 4. Again, I will build thee, and thou shalt be built, O virgin of Israel. You shall again be adorned with your tabrets, and shall go forth in the dances of those that make merry. You shall yet plant vines upon the mountains of Samaria. The planter shall plant, and shall eat them as common things. For there shall be a day that the watchman upon the Mount Ephraim shall cry, Arise you, and let us go up to Zion unto Yahweh our Elohim.
Right. Now, we're not going to be divided up into two houses anymore, right? Even in the land of Ephraim, they're going to say, come on, let's go down to Zion. Before, the king said, who was that, Jeroboam? Jeroboam said before, it's too much for you to go up to Jerusalem. There you God right there, them calves I'm building. See? And then the people stood around looking at this brother like he was a nut, right? And what did he command the men to do? Let the men kiss the calves. Do something emotional. Once the men did it, then they had the women and children did it.
So this verse 6, this is going to be where Ephraim says, what everybody to do anymore with idols.
Right.
So scratch them all.
Right. You're going to beat them all in the chalkstone. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 7. For thus says Yahweh, sing with gladness for Yaakov, and shout among the chief of the nations. Publish you, praise you, and say, O Yahweh, save your people, the remnant of Israel. Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the coast of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her that travaileth with child together. A great company shall return thither. They shall come with weeping, and with supplications will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way, wherein they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. Hear the word of Yahweh, O you nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattered Israel will gather him and keep him as a shepherd does his flock. For Yahweh hath redeemed Yaakov, and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. Therefore they shall come and sing in the heights of Zion, and shall flow together to the goodness of Yahweh for wheat and for wine and for oil and for the young of the flock and of the herd. And their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. Then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, both young men and old together. For I will turn their mourning into joy, and will comfort them, and make them rejoice from their sorrow. And I will saturate the soul of the priests with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, says Yahweh.
Praise Yah.
Thus, says Yahweh, a voice was heard in Ramoth, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel, weeping for her children, refused to be comforted for her children because they were not.
This is when Israel was invaded by the Medo-Persian Empire. Go ahead. I mean by the Roman Empire. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 16. Thus says Yahweh, refrain your voice from weeping, and your eyes from tears, for your work shall be rewarded, says Yahweh, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy.
Amen.
And there is hope in your end, says Yahweh, that your children shall come again to their own border. I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus. You have chastised me, and I was chastised, as a bullock unaccustomed to the yoke. Turn down me, and I shall be turned.
If you turn me, I'll be turned. If you turn me, I'll be turned. But I can't do it myself. A lot of us think that we so holy that we can do it ourselves, but we can't. Except Yahweh do it, we will live in the valley of the damned forever and ever. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. For you are Yahweh, my Elohim. Verse 19. Surely after that I was turned, I repented, and after that I was instructed. I smote upon my thigh. I was ashamed, yea, even confounded, because I did bear the reproach of my youth. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? But since I spoke against him, I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my bowels are troubled for him. I will surely have mercy upon him, says Yahweh. Set you up waymarks, make you high heaps. Set your heart toward the highway, even the way which you went. Turn again, O virgin of Israel. Turn again to these, your cities. How long will you go about, O you backsliding daughter? For Yahweh have created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man.
We right at the doors of it, aren't we? Go ahead, brother.
Thus says Yahweh of hosts, the El of Israel. As yet they shall use this speech in the land of Yehuda and in the cities thereof, when I shall bring again their captivity. Yahweh bless thee, O habitation of justice, and mountain of holiness. And there shall dwell in Yehuda itself, and in all the cities thereof together, farmers, and they that go forth with flocks. For I have saturated the weary soul, and I have replenished every sorrowful soul. Upon this I awake and beheld, and my sleep was sweet unto me. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Yehuda with the seed of man and with the seed of beast. And it shall come to pass that like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, says Yahweh. In those days they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten of sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge. But everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eateth the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge.
That's fair. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 31. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehuda. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they broke, although I was an husband unto them, says Yahweh. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, says Yahweh, I will put my law into their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their El, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh. For they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, says Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. Thus says Yahweh, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahweh of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me, says Yahweh, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. Thus says Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, says Yahweh. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that the city shall be built to Yahweh from the tower of Hananiel unto the gate of the corner. And the measuring line shall yet go forth over against it upon the hill Gareb, and shall compass about to Goah. And the whole valley of the dead bodies, and of the ashes, and of all the fields unto the brook of Kidron, unto the corner of the horse gate toward the east, shall be holy unto Yahweh. It shall not be plucked up, nor thrown down any more forever.
Okay, my brother. Now, The next chapter has to deal with the sealing of the deeds for the land. Yirmiyahu was told to divide this land, and as a matter of fact, the land that he bought, the Assyrians ended up being in there, 185,000 of them getting killed off. But anyways, he told them to buy this land and seal up the evidence. This is why I say Jeremiah hid the deeds, right? It would only be Yirmiyahu that will retrieve those deeds. The Israelis have not deeds to the property of Israel. They're in there illegally. Chapter 32 and verse 36. Chapter 32 and verse 36.
And now, therefore, thus saith Yahweh, the El of Israel, concerning this city, whereof you say, it shall be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence. Behold, I will gather them out of all countries to where I have driven them in mine anger, and in my fury, and in great wrath. And I will bring them again unto this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely. And they shall be my people, and I will be their Elohim. And I will give them one heart and one way, that they may fear me forever, for the good of them, and of their children after them. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them, that I will not turn away from them to do them good. But I will put my fear in their hearts, that they shall not depart from me. Yea, I will rejoice over them to do them good, and I will plant them in this land assuredly with my whole heart and with my whole soul.
Amen.
But thus says Yahweh, like as I have brought all this great evil upon this people, so will I bring upon them all the good that I have promised them. And fields shall be bought in this land, whereof you say, it is desolate without man or beast. It is given into the hand of the Chaldeans. Men shall buy fields for money, and subscribe evidences, and seal them, and take witnesses in the land of Benjamin, and in the places about Jerusalem, and in the cities of Yehudah, and in the cities of the mountains, and in the cities of the valley, and in the cities of the south. For I will cause their captivity to return, says Yahweh.
33 and 6.
Behold, I will bring it health and cure, and I will cure them, and will reveal unto them the abundance of peace and truth. And I will cause the captivity of Yehudah and the captivity of Israel to return, and will build them as at the first. And I will cleanse them from all their iniquity whereby they have sinned against me, and I will pardon all their iniquities whereby they have sinned, and whereby they have transgressed against me. And it shall be to me a name of joy, a praise, and an honor before all the nations of the earth, which shall hear all the good that I do unto them, and they shall fear and tremble for all the goodness and for all the prosperity that I procure unto you. Thus says Yahweh, again thou shalt be heard in this place, which you say shall be desolate without man and without beast, even in the cities of Yehudah, and in the streets of Jerusalem that are desolate, without man and without inhabitant and without beast, the voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the voice of them that say, praise Yahweh of hosts, for Yahweh is good, for his mercy endureth forever. And of them that shall bring sacrifice, the sacrifice of praise into the house of Yahweh, for I will cause to return the captivity of the land, and at the first, says Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, again in this place, which is desolate without man and without beast, and in all the cities thereof, shall be an habitation of shepherds, causing their flocks to lie down. In the cities of the mountains, in the cities of the vale, and in the cities of the south, and in the land of Benjamin, and in the places about Jerusalem, and in the cities of Yehudah, shall the flocks pass again under the hands of him that telleth them, says Yahweh. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will perform that good thing which I have promised unto the house of Israel and to the house of Yehudah.
And when we notice what the blessings of the nations, what do they say? We going off to heaven, cut. No instructions, no nothing of what's going to happen. We just going off to heaven, right? But look at all the stuff that we're reading. That Yahweh said that he's going to procure to his people Israel, and in turn, through our people receiving these blessings, then truly the nation shall be blessed. There's going to be peace and prosperity all over the earth for 1,000 years. Every man live in his own house. Every man have his own land and his own fig tree, right? You can't get no better than that. And plus, the Messiah being there and a whole kingdom of priests with the house of Judah being scattered all over the earth to teach man righteousness. To let man know why he receiving all this prosperity. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 15. In those days and at that time will I cause the branch of righteousness to grow up unto David, and he shall execute judgment and righteousness in the land.
Praise Yah.
In those days shall Yehudah be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell safely. And this is the name wherewith she shall be called, Yahweh our righteousness. For thus says Yahweh, David shall never want a man to sit upon the throne of the house of Israel. Neither shall the priests, the Levites, want a man before me to offer burnt offerings and to kindle meat offerings and to do sacrifice continually. And the word of Yahweh came unto Yirmiyahu, saying, Thus says Yahweh, if you can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night, and that there shall not be day and night in their season, then may also my covenant be broken with David my servant, that he should not have a son to reign upon his throne, and with the Levites the priests my ministers. As the host of heaven cannot be numbered, neither the sand of the sea measured, so will I multiply the seed of David my servant, and the Levites that minister unto me. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came to Yirmiyahu, saying, Do you not consider what this people have spoken, saying, The two families which Yahweh have chosen, he have even cast them off? Thus they have despised my people, that they should be no more a nation before them.
And we are not called a nation by any of the nations upon the earth, are we? What we are called? A bunch of people. Blacks, alligators, anything, right? Anything but a nation of people. We can't even claim any nation. We say we're African American. Africans don't want us. Folks don't nobody want to deal with us. We don't even want to deal with us. Go ahead. That's because Yahweh said, I've set every man's hand against his brother's hand. But he turned around and told us, now that you found what you seem to be looking for, love ye one another. And this is love, that we keep the commandments. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yirmiyahu chapter 33, verse 25. Thus says Yahweh, if my covenant be not with day and night, and if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, so that I will not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them.
Right. Like Paul told the Europeans, now you Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise, right? According to the promise of what? That you're going to be ruled. We're reading the promise right here. That you're going to be ruled over. That you're going to be servants and handmaidens in this kingdom. Don't think that you're going to obtain what you're going to obtain before Israel do. I mean, this whole book is Israel. So what make you think that you're going to grab onto something first or be equal to Israel? But don't nobody want to be behind Israel. You know why? They see how we are as a people. See? And they resent the fact. They resent the fact that Israel has chosen, that Yahweh has chosen Israel to be his people. Chapter 46 and verse 27, my brother. You tell folks, what I tell you, where I told you go, 46 and 27. You tell folks, say, well, we're Yahweh's chosen people. Oh, man, there's no respect to person with God. See, Paul say right here. Open up the book and read, see? But there's no respect to person with God. See, so you wrong, brother. So wait, whoa. Keep on reading. Don't close your book up. See? You're cutting off your knowledge. Keep on reading. It says, for there's no respect to person with God. For as many as have sinned without law shall die without law. Y'all don't keep no law. So y'all walking around dead and trying to keep us dead. Go ahead and read. But well, Paul told you that the Europeans was alienated from the commonwealth of Israel and without Yahweh in the world, right? They still are. Unless they come where? through the house of Israel. Israel was given the covenants, the promise. Read the book of Romans. Paul explained the whole thing in the book of Romans. Israel was given the covenants, the promise, the service, the giving of the law of the nation. Isn't it? Didn't we just read that he's going to make a new covenant with the house of Israel? Yahshua HaMashiach sealed that covenant in his blood. And the covenant will be enjoined unto us once we get into the wilderness and 2/3 of our people get cut off and die. Because those 2/3, they're not going to believe. You know why? Men and women is going to be telling them these things instead of Yahweh our Elohim standing there telling them. They don't want even, man don't even want to hear Yahweh speak. Go ahead now. Read, brother.
Yirmiyahu chapter 46, verse 27. But fear thou not, O my servant Yaakov, and be not dismayed, O Israel. For behold, I will save you from afar, and your seed from the land of their captivity, and Yaakov shall return and be in rest and at ease, and none shall make him afraid. Fear thou not, O Yaakov, my servant, says Yahweh, for I am with thee. For I will make a full end of all the nations to where I have driven you, but I will not make a full end of you, but correct you in measure, yet will I not leave you wholly unpunished.
Amen. That's fair. Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 1. Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 1. That's what I like about Yahweh. He do something to us, then he turn around and tell us. He be slapping us all around, right? Didn't I tell you not to do that? Didn't I tell you? And now I'm going to do this to you, and I'm going to do that, but I'm going to save you now. I'm going to save your children. But I'm tearing you up, Jack. I'm beating your brains out, right? But I'm going to save your children. You see, I'm going to make a new covenant with your children. I'm going to kill you, but I'm going to make a new covenant with your children. Chapter 20. People fail to understand that Yahweh is the covenant God. And the seven covenants, a lot of people like to say it's more than 7 covenants because they go back up in Eden and say, tell me about the covenant with Adam. I ain't read a covenant with Adam yet. So it's only 7 major covenants that Yahweh made. And those major covenants was made totally with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. People in the house of Israel and the house of Judah. The covenants that were made would govern the whole life of the house of Israel and the house of Judah, regards to who it was made with among our people. It says chapter 24, pick that up at verse 1.
Yes, sir. Behold, Yahweh maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be, as with the people, so with the priests.
Hold up, brother. Come shoot.
Behold, Yahweh maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be, as with the people, so with the priests, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of interest, so with the giver of interest to him.
In other words, this thing is going to affect everybody when Yahweh turn this earth upside down, right? The scripture tells us that the earth is going to reel to and fro like a drunkard. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 3. The land shall be utterly empty and utterly spoiled. For Yahweh hath spoken.
And all you got to
word.
do to prove that is get back into Revelations 8 and Revelations 15 and 16 and read what's going to take place. And you're going to see the land is truly going to be empty and utterly spoiled. Except Yahweh had left us a small remnant and a remnant of the nations for us to rule over, we'd totally be destroyed. Everything he created on this earth would be destroyed. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 4. The earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the law.
They transgressed the laws, right? Because we don't have to keep it, right? Go ahead, brother.
Changed the ordinance.
Changed all the ordinances. They gave us holidays, right? Go ahead.
Broken the everlasting covenant.
The everlasting covenant was Sabbath. It was the first thing that Yahweh blessed and sanctified, and it was the first thing that the nations changed. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 6. Therefore have the curse devoured the earth.
This is why the curse has devoured the earth, because they've done these things. Go ahead, brother.
And they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left.
Look around. Look around. There is few men left compared to the masses of the people, isn't it? Tell you what you do, to show you how few we are, turn on your TV tomorrow morning and watch folks going in them whorehouses. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 7. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh. The mirth of tabrets ceases, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the heart ceases. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. In the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. When thus it shall be in the midst of the land among the people, there shall be as the shaking of an olive tree, and as the gleaming grapes when the vintage is done.
Right. A few berries here and a few berries over there, right? Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 14. They shall lift up their voice. They shall sing for the majesty of Yahweh. They shall cry aloud from the sea. Wherefore glorify you, Yahweh, in the fires, even the name of Yahweh Elohim of Israel in the isles of the sea. From the uttermost part of the earth have we heard songs, even glory to the righteous. But I said, my leanness, woe unto me. The treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Yea, the treacherous dealers have dealt very treacherously.
Now, how did the treacherous dealers deal treacherously with us? Huh? Saul told you, say, look, that Satan has been transformed into an angel of light, right? And his ministers are teaching the Messiah in contention, right? In other words, they're teaching falsehood about the Messiah, right? But yet and still, she's on every corner. She got her voice going on all the airways daily, right? Why? Because the adversary, the devil, is out to destroy you. Yeah, go ahead and read it, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 17. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon you, O inhabitant of the earth. And it shall come to pass that he who fleeth from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit. And he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake.
Amen.
The earth is utterly broken down. The earth is clean dissolved. The earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again.
That's why it's going to have to become the lake of fire. The final, Yahweh has promised every soul that was born that they're going to inherit eternal life. Either in the lake of fire, or either on the new heaven and new earth. One of the two, on new earth, rather. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 21. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh will punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together, as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when Yahweh of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion, and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously.
25 and 3.
Therefore shall the strong people glorify thee. The city of the terrible nation shall fear you. For you have been a strength to the poor, a strength to the needy in his distress, a refuge from the storm, a shelter from the heat, when the blast of the terrible ones is as a storm against the wall.
When the people come upon us to where we can't hardly resist them, he's going to be our comforter. See, Yahweh say he's going to stand up an ensign against them, right? Okay, go ahead, brother.
Verse 5. Thou shalt bring down the noise of strangers as the heat in a dry place, even the heat with the shadow of a cloud. The branch of the terrible one shall be brought low. And in this mountain shall Yahweh of hosts make unto all people a feast of fat things, a feast of wines on the leaves, of fat things full of marrow, of wines on the leaves well refined.
Amen.
And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. He will swallow up death in victory, and Adonai Elohim will wipe away tears from off all faces. And the rebuke of Israel shall he take away from all the earth, for Yahweh hath spoken.
Amen.
And it shall be said in that day, Lo, this is our Elohim. We have waited for him, and he will save us. This is Yahweh. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation. For in this mountain shall the hand of Yahweh rest, and Moab shall be trodden down under him, even as straw is trodden down for the dunghill. And he shall spread forth his hands in the midst of them, as he that swimmeth spreadeth forth his hands to swim. And he shall bring down their pride together with the spoils of their hands. And the fortress of the high fort of your wall shall he bring down, lay low, and bring to the ground, even to the dust.
26 and 10.
Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of Yahweh.
Right.
Yahweh, when thy hand is lifted up, they will not see.
Right, they don't see what Yahweh's doing. No, they say, oh, they're just a bunch of niggas over there with a cup. We don't have to pay them no attention. Right. But they beginning to see all around the United States, there's congregations popping up. There's congregations popping up. And all of us are talking about the same thing. Our salvation is at hand. Your God is at hand, Israel. You need to grab onto your God with your whole heart and your own whole soul and showing them who they are. See, this is the thing to show you who you are. Once you find out who you are, you will know in the process of showing you who you are, you will also find out your relationship with your Creator. And like he said, you only have I known of all the families on the earth. Yeah, go ahead and read, brother.
But they shall see and be ashamed for their envy at the people. Yea, the fire of your enemies shall devour them. Yahweh, you will ordain peace for us, for you also have wrought all our works in us. O Yahweh, our Elohim, other lords beside you have had dominion over us, but by you only will we make mention of your name.
Amen.
They are dead, they shall not live. They are deceased, they shall not rise. Therefore have you visited and destroyed them and made all their memory to perish. You have increased the nation, O Yahweh. You have increased the nation. You are glorified. You had removed it far unto all the ends of the earth. Yahweh, in trouble have they visited you. They poured out a prayer when your chastening was upon them.
Right. A lot of us, man, you talking about, see, we stand up, we pray, oh, Lord, you know, like we, oh, you know, blah, blah, just words, right? But when he pour that chastening up on you, look here, it's going to come from the heart and soul. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 17. Like as a woman with child that draweth near the time of her delivery is in pain and crieth out in her pain, so have we been in your sight, O Yahweh.
Right. We only cry out in our pain. We only pour out our heart in our pain. And the other time, we just saying words. Right. Go ahead and read, man.
Verse 18. We have been with child We have been in pain. We have, as it were, brought forth wind. We have not wrought any deliverance in the earth, neither have the inhabitants of the world, Father.
Why we haven't wrought any deliverance in the earth? Why haven't we done that? Simply because there's a lot of brothers that's afraid to deal with this word. There's a lot of brothers that'll go so far and then they want to back up. Let me tell you something. You're going to die one day, something or another, right? Whether it's cancer, you get run over by a car, or whatever it is, you're going to die, right? Well, wouldn't it be a grand thing to die for a good cause? Huh? To die in the name of your God? You should always be ready to be offered up. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 19. Your dead men shall live. Together with my dead body shall they arise. Awake and sing, you that dwell in the dust. For your dew is as the dew of earth, and the earth shall cast out her dead. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself, as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. Verse 21. For behold, Yahweh cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain.
Okay, put something in your book right there, because we're coming right back here. Let's go over here in Romans and read some things that Saul had to say here in the book of Romans. Romans 9, and Romans 11, I'm sorry. And let's pick that up at Romans 11 and verse 11. He's talking about Israel right here at verse 11. Go ahead and pick that up, my brother.
Yes, sir. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? Elohim forbid. But rather through their fall, salvation is come unto the Europeans for to provoke Israel to jealousy.
That's the only reason they fell. The only reason they fell. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 12. Now if the fall of Israel be the riches of the world, and the diminishing of Israel the riches of the Gentiles, how much more their fullness?
Right, you received all the wealth and everything on the earth because Israel fell so that you can be grafted in, right? This is the only way, this is the mystery that was hidden from our fathers, you see. But Israel fell, and you received the riches of the world because you was grafted in, and you was given 2,520 years to rule the earth, right? But because Israel fell, how much should be, and you received all of this, how much should their fullness be, besides, what would it be, rather, other than their salvation? Go ahead, brother.
Brother, you know, just what we read, if the Muslims understood what happened, right with this, then that little hatred or whatever, and that jealousy that the Christians among our people got for the Europeans, they dropped that.
Of course,
they would know the reason with it.
Of course, brother, but who wants to believe us? Folks don't want to read this here. Folks go in there and read verses and phrases all their life. All their life, they build their whole religion out of 10, 15 verses and phrases that's read out of the whole Bible and say, oh, child, I know God. Sure you do. I know who your God is, too. Yeah, go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 13. For I speak to you, Europeans, insomuch as I am the apostle of the Europeans, I magnify mine own.
Right. Go ahead and read, brother. Of course. If you're out of compliance with the word, of course you don't have the spirit. It's just that simple. The spirit, what did he say? When the spirit of truth is come, he will teach you all things. If they ain't dealing with the truth, then who they serving? And no model. Because Satan himself has been transformed into an angel of light, and his ministers are teaching Yahshua HaMashiach in contention. That's why we have problems. That's why we got brothers walking around calling them Jesus Christ and so forth. You know why? No spirit. Right.
We got brothers under the New Order thing calling them Jesus Christ.
No truth.
Jehovah.
Right. Go ahead, bro. One thing, they get bits and pieces of truth. But one thing I tell you when you come here, if you sit in that seat, you're going to get the full gospel from Genesis to Revelation. Ain't but one gospel. And you're going to get it if you sit there in that seat. Go ahead and read, brother.
Romans chapter 11.
About, man, they read too much, man. Right. History is the most boring thing it is in all the book is history. Right? But you get it, don't you? And what that does is this. When people go in that New Testament, you're able to say, well, no. When people tell you, say, man, You're Ishmaelites. He said, no, brother. Come here, let me show you something. See? Teach you who you are, your relationship with your Creator. That's it. I'm through. See? Yahweh take over then. Go ahead, brother. Right, because they didn't study to show themselves approved. But how could they learn except they have a teacher? And how can they teach except to be sent, brother? See, that's what it's all about. It wasn't that time, brother. You see, I keep telling people, man, you don't know what your forefathers did. Yahweh said, I visit the iniquity from the fathers to the children, the third and fourth generation. It's some people that just can't come to Yahweh simply because the iniquity, the abomination of their fathers was just too great. Go ahead and read, brother.
Romans chapter 11, verse 14. If by any means I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. For if the casting away of Israel be the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of Israel be but life from the dead?
If the casting away of Israel brought the world, all the world together, and you ruled in this earth, what shall the receiving of Israel be but life from the dead? See? Didn't he tell us in Ezekiel 37 chapter, say, oh my people, I'm going to open your grave and bring you out of your grave and put my breath, my spirit in you, and I'm going to bring you back to the land of Israel. Ain't that what he said? Go ahead, bro.
A mental and a physical resurrection.
Of course, bro. We got to have the mental resurrection first. That's what we're in the process of receiving now, the changing of your nature. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 16. For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches.
Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the branches is Israel, right? Go ahead, bro.
Verse 17. And if some of the branches be broken off, and you, being a wild olive tree, were grafted in among them, and with them partakers of the root and fatness of the olive tree, boast not against the branches. But if you boast, you bear not the root, but the root you.
You don't bear this tree here. You don't bear no part of this tree, man. Y'all, all you nations, y'all been grafted into this tree here. Y'all done took over the whole tree. See? Y'all done took over the whole tree now. We didn't tell you, you were a branch. Now, you the root, the fatness of, and the trunk, and everything, the fatness of the olive tree. Now it's you. Now, you walking around talking about, do you know the Lord? Yeah. I wish I did know him. I don't know him, and you don't either. And you ain't going to know him with that junk. You want to know his angels because they're going to put some whoop on your butt. But you ain't going to know Yahweh. I'm not going to even know Yahweh. I'm going to know of him. Yeah. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 17. You will say then, the branches were broken off, that I might be grafted in.
That's not why the branches was broken off. The branches was broken off because of unbelief.
Unbelief.
You were grafted in to provoke Israel to jealousy. Because we had it all, now we got to split up in that kingdom, and look at you. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 20. Well, because of unbelief they were broken off, and you stand by faith. Be not high-minded, but fear. For if y'all spared not the natural branches, take heed lest he also spare not you.
Now, their abominations are greater than ours. Because they have spread, at least we spread our stuff in our land. They have spread their junk to the four corners of the earth. I wouldn't be surprised. Look what they planted up in space. They went up there and planted the flag of their goddess liberty, didn't they? Didn't it? That's deep. Go ahead and read, brother.
Some months back, Christianity is a venereal disease.
It is.
It's been spread all over Earth.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Look who's spreading it. The goddess Liberty. She's a whore. Wasn't her mother a whore? Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 22. Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of Elohim on them which spare severity, but toward you goodness, if thou continue in his goodness. Otherwise, you also shall be cut off.
Of course, when we read the doctrine that was taught them, we can very well see that they've strayed totally from what was taught them, didn't they? They killed, Emperor Nero killed Paul. He killed Peter. He exiled John the Revelator to the Isle of Patmos. And when you read the history of the Roman Empire in those years, the Roman Empire put so much pressure on them Europeans that was calling themselves Christians that they had to go out in the catacombs of Rome. That's when they came up with that design. Now, Yahweh told us, said, look, don't make nothing to represent me, right? They got them a little fish, didn't they? Now we still see it on the back of these cars. Don't. It's still here. The same atrocities that they was practicing back in antiquity, they got the same thing before us today. But the problem is we don't study to show ourselves approved. And we love Mike. See, we want to be just like Mike. So we do whatever the Gentiles, whatever we see the Gentiles do, that's what we do. And we try, you know, brothers try to say, well, look, let's do something a little different. No, I don't want to do that. I want to be just like Mike. Right. Right. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 23. And Israel also, if Israel abide not still in unbelief, shall be grafted in. For Elohim is able to graft them in again.
Mm-hmm.
For if you were cut out of the olive tree, which is wild by nature, and were grafted contrary to nature into a good olive tree, how much more shall these, which be the natural branches, be grafted into their own olive tree?
Right. Don't you boast against them branches, because Yahweh's going to graft them right back into that tree again. It was 3 branches that was broken off, and they're going to be grafted right back into that tree. You know why? The Messiah was called the Lion of the tribe of Judah. And Judah, Benjamin, and Levi were the branches that was broken off. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 25. For I would not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of this mystery, lest you should be wise in your own conceit, that blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Europeans be come in.
Blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Europeans become in. And what is their fullness? John the Revelator told you. They're going to worship a man. They're going to worship a flesh and blood man. That's their fullness. Worshiping Satan wide open. Go ahead and read, brother. Pardon me? Sure, sure. And they call him what? Papa. Which word means what? Father. Okay. Okay. And to show you how much of a father he is to them, look at the people that the Vatican canonized, right? Deitized, right? The Pope just deitized some folks. They talking about deitizing this woman. What her name was? Teresa. Then the Pope said, no, I don't want to deitize no more women. So what did they do? They said, okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll build a colossal statue of her. What's the damn difference? People going to still bow down to her. But the Europeans have put themselves in a position to where they can say, it's not a man, he's a saint. And then they glorify him. And then here, niggas fall down on their knees talking about, oh, Mary, pray the Jews to ask Peter, to ask Paul, to ask that other woman over there, whatever her name is, to ask that brother over there, to ask Jesus, to ask God, can I go to the bathroom? And we all see it. We all see it. We walk around in the neighborhood, see them little statues on cars. We before we got this house here, I was out when we got it, out there digging around the mailbox and dug up a damn statue. Right. And then went back behind the house a few weeks later and dug up another statue. See? Where's Asa? Asa know the name of that doggone thing. John or somebody. Anyway, he's supposed to be the one that you're supposed to plant in your yard when you want to have good luck and everything. Around the mailbox. So they can have good mail coming into the box. Right? Like the scripture says, my son, learn not the ways of the heathen, for they're vain. They go in the woods, they cut down a tree, they bring it in the house. Y'all know what day I'm talking about, don't you? They stand it up right, they decorate it with gold and silver, right? But they got to carry the damn thing around. So don't you do that, right? Don't you learn the heathen ways, right? Watch December 25th and see what happens. I'll tell you something else you can watch too. Watch this month. I think it's going to be the 11th of this month. They're going to have their pagan Thanksgiving Day in Canada. This month. They got their paganism going all around us. Some have it. Japanese have their New Year one year. one time of the year. The Europeans have all them brothers, but all of them got different days to serve the same damn gods, and we know it. And you know what? We love it so. Yeah, go ahead, my sister. And they tear us down anything they want to, and anytime they want to. All they got to do, I don't care what job you work on, I don't care how good you are. All one of them Europeans got to say is one of them head honchos, I don't like. What you doing with that blue dress on? We don't wear no blue down here. Get out of here. I want that smiling all in your face, right? And then that afternoon, your boss come and call you in with a pink slip. And you don't even know why. Just because you wore the wrong color. That's deep. Go ahead and read, brother.
Romans chapter 11, verse 26. And so all Israel shall be saved.
Not part of Israel. All of Israel shall be saved. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. As it is written, there shall come out of Yehuda the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Yaakov. For this is my covenant unto them, when I shall take away their sins.
I'm going to write my law in your hearts and your mind, and I'm going to be to you a God, and you're going to be to me a people. This is my covenant when I turn away your sin. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 28. As concerning the gospel, they are enemies for your sake. But as touching the election, they are beloved for the Father's sake. For the gifts and callings of Yahweh are without repentance.
Right, he can't change. He can't change what he said because he said these things and they were written in covenants, right? Okay, let's go back to Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 27 and pick that up at verse 1.
He says, chapter 27, verse 1. In that day, Yahweh with his sword and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. In that day sing you unto her a vineyard of red wine. I, Yahweh, do keep it. I will water it every moment, lest any hurt it. I will keep it night and day. Fury is not in me. Who will set the briars and thorns against me in battle? I would go through them. I would burn them together. Or let him take hold of my strength, that he may make peace with me, and he shall make peace with me. He shall cause them that come of Jacob to take root. Israel shall blossom and bud and fill the face of the world with fruit.
Right. Right. Everywhere you go on this earth, Israel is going to be there, the majority, in mass, in control. Then we're going to say, hey, man, you nation, y'all the majority. See? We don't want you to stay on this side of town. We want you to stay over there. See? We don't want you to stay over there. We want you to stay over there. Ain't that what they do to us? Okay. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 7.
See, that's what happens when you're in control. You can make decisions. But when you're in control, you got to take what falls from master's table, regardless of who master is. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 7. Have he smitten him? Has he smote those that smote him? Or is he slain according to the slaughter of them that are slain by him? In measure, when it shooteth forth, you will debate with it. He stabbed his rough wind in the day of the east wind.
Correct, because we know he said the wage of sin is death. But he stayed, you ain't dead, and I know all of us committed sin, right? So what happened? He stayed his rough wind in the day of the east wind when he called the wind to blow warmly and softly towards you, right? Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir, verse 9. By this, therefore, shall the iniquity of Jacob be purged.
This is how you're going to be purged, by him being what? Merciful and graceful to you. Go ahead, brother.
And this is all the fruit to take away his sin. When he maketh all the stones of the altar as chalk stones that are beaten in sunder, the groves and images shall not stand up. Yet the defenced city shall be desolate, and the habitation forsaken and left like a wilderness. There shall the calf feed, and there shall he lie down, and consume the branches thereof. When the boughs thereof are withered, they shall be broken off. The women come and set them on fire. For it is a people of no understanding, Therefore he that made them will not have mercy on them, and he that formed them will show them no favor.
Right, because you don't follow your instructions. You don't go in the scripture and watch and find out whether first this woman or this man, whichever it is, have their mind stayed on Yahweh Elohim or not. See, when you talking with people about this word, you can tell whether they stayed on, because you're going to find out they're going to go and start reading and come asking you some serious questions, not no junk. You see, like, which day is the Sabbath day? You know, what are we supposed to do on Christmas? Right, right. So, when a woman comes to you and talking to her about her salvation and so forth and so on, then that's when you begin to take note. Yeah, go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 12.
But a lot of us, what we do is this. We choose a woman by the sight of our eyes.
Right. That makes the brother, in that text, in that sense, brother, that makes the brother really the weaker vessel.
Of course it does.
Put it on himself.
Of course it is.
He's the one that got the problem.
Of course it is, brother. The sight of his eyes. That's his problem. Yeah, go ahead and read. Too much knowledge? Knowledge and understanding work hand in hand, brother. How can you have understanding without having knowledge of what to be understood? You can't deal with one without the other. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir.
See, me myself, brother, I like dealing with a sister that got a whole lot of knowledge. You know why? It keeps me in check. You get a sister that got a whole lot of knowledge, you're more apt to say, well, wait, let me back up and see what this sister here was talking about. That's the only way the twain shall become one, brother. See, that love has to do with love. We use that word loosely, brothers. When you love someone, what you do is this. You put yourself in a position to where that person can hurt you. A lot of us don't want to deal with that. See, a lot of us want to say, well, I'm going to stay back and keep this covered. No, it don't work like that. Love covers a whole lot of things that we have to deal with, that a lot of us, what most of us call love, ain't nothing but lust. Go ahead and read, brother.
Ezekiel chapter 27, verse 12.